I never thought a single rip of paper could shatter a life built on lies. But when Marcus tore our family photo in two that rainy Tuesday night in our cramped Chicago apartment, he didn't just destroy the image of us smiling at our daughter's third birthday. He ripped open the truth I'd buried for 5 years. In that split second, as the jagged edges fluttered to the floor like dying leaves, I saw it all. The affair he'd hidden, the money he'd stolen from my nonprofit, and worst of all, the hidden run he'd pinned on me to cover his tracks. "You're the curse on this family, Blakely," he bellowed, his face twisted like a bad caricature of the man I'd loved, veins bulging in his neck as spit flew from his lips. But what he didn't know, what no one knew, was that I'd been waiting for this explosion, recording every slur on the phone hidden in my sleeve, because forgiveness had died the night our little Ellie vanished under the tires of his SUV. It started small, the way these American dreams curdle into nightmares. We'd met at a dive bar in Wrigleyville, back when Obama was still in office and hope felt like a Cubs pennant waving in the wind. I was 25, fresh out of community college with a social work degree and stars in my eyes, volunteering at a shelter for battered women on the South Side. Marcus was the charming contractor from the suburbs, all broad shoulders and easy laughs, promising to build me a life brick by brick. "You're my anchor, Blake," he'd whisper after lovemaking in our first shitty studio, his breath hot against my neck, fingers tracing the tattoo on my hip, a compass rose I'd gotten after foster care spit me out at 18, a reminder that direction was mine to choose. We married quick, Vegas style, on a whim during a work trip, Elvis presiding in a sequin jumpsuit that made us giggle like idiots. Ellie came a year later, a squalling bundle with my hazel eyes and his dimpled chin, turning our two-bedroom rental into a chaotic kingdom of sippy cups and bedtime stories. I poured my soul into Haven House, the nonprofit I'd scraped together from grants and garage sales, helping women like the ones I'd grown up dodging, fists hidden behind apologies, bruises blooming like ugly flowers. Marcus supported it on paper, donating his sweat equity by fixing leaky roofs and installing security cams, but off the record, he'd roll his eyes. "You're playing savior to strays, babe. When are you going to focus on us?" The cracks showed first in the finances. Haven House was bleeding cash, donors drying up after the 2020 lockdowns, rents skyrocketing in a city where greed wore a mayoral smile. I confided in Marcus over takeout, lo mein one night. Spreadsheets splayed across our coffee table like battle plans. "We need a loan, or we're sunk," I said, rubbing my temples. He leaned back, cracking his knuckles, that predatory glint in his eye I'd mistaken for confidence. "Leave it to me, Blake. I got connections." 2 weeks later, $50,000 wired in from a silent investor, no strings. He said. Relief washed over me like Lake Michigan fog. I hired staff, expanded beds, watched lives stitch back together. But Marcus started changing. Late nights at job sites, cologne that wasn't his, phone calls he'd take in the garage with the door half shut. I chalked it up to stress, the economy tanking, his crew laid off after some high-rise scandal in the Loop. Then Ellie turned 4, and everything imploded. It was a crisp October evening, golden leaves crunching under our boots as we walked home from the park. She was skipping ahead, pigtails bouncing, clutching a crumpled drawing of our forever family. Marcus was behind me, on his phone, muttering about a deal closing tomorrow. I turned to snap at him for ignoring us when screech. Tires. A blur of black SUV mounting the curb. Ellie didn't scream. She just crumpled, like a paper doll folded wrong. Blood pooled under her tiny sneakers, the ones with the light-up soles that twinkled like stars. I dropped to my knees, screaming her name into the void, hands pressing futilely against the warmth seeping out. Marcus was there in a heartbeat, yelling for an ambulance, his face pale as the chalk lines they'd later draw. But the SUV?
Gone.
Fled into the twilight, taillights mocking us like red devil eyes. The cops came fast, flashing lights turning our street into a circus. Neighbors gawking from porches with thermoses of coffee like it was neighborhood watch theater. Detective Ruiz, a no-nonsense Latina with a badge pin like a grudge, grilled us separately. "You see the plate, Mrs. Hale?" she'd asked, her notebook flipping like Judgment Day pages. I shook my head, numb, staring at the spot where Ellie's drawing had blown away. Marcus, though, he was steady, too steady, recounting every detail. Black Escalade, Illinois plates starting with Z. Headed west on Halstead. Heroic, they called him. The media ate it up, local news vultures circling with mics and tears, dubbing him the grieving dad who won't quit. They found the car 2 days later, abandoned in a Humboldt Park lot, wiped clean but for a single pink hair ribbon tangled in the grill, Ellie's, from her last haircut. Toxicology on the phantom driver? Clean, but the vehicle traced to a rental under a ghost name. Leads dried up faster than the bouquets, wilting on our doorstep. Grief swallowed me whole. I couldn't eat,
Couldn't sleep.
Haven House running on autopilot while I wandered our empty apartment like a ghost, folding her tiny clothes into drawers that mocked me with silence. Marcus held it together, or so I thought. He buried himself in work, took up boxing at a gym in Pilsen to punch out the pain, came home with split knuckles and a fire in his eyes. "We're gonna get justice, Blake," he'd say, pulling me close, his grip iron. I clung to that.
To him.
Because without Ellie, what was left but 6 months in? Whispers started. A donor pulled funding after irregularities in Haven House books, missing checks, forged signatures. My signature. I pored over records till dawn, heart hammering, finding the discrepancies. $20,000 here, $15,000 there, siphoned to offshore accounts I'd never heard of. Panic clawed my throat. I confronted Marcus in our kitchen, the one with the Formica counter scarred from Ellie's crayon wars. "This isn't me," I whispered, shoving printouts at him. His face hardened, that easy charm curdling to stone. "You're stressed?"
Babe.
Imagining things. But the cops didn't buy innocence. Ruiz showed up with a warrant, her partner cuffing me in front of the fridge magnet of Ellie's school portrait. "Embezzlement to fund a cover-up," she said flatly, reading my rights like a eulogy. "We got a witness saying you were behind the wheel that night." The witness? Marcus's cousin, Tommy, a weaselly barfly who'd suddenly remembered seeing Blakely arguing with a kid before the hit. Lies. All of it. But the evidence piled like snow in a blizzard. My prints on the rental paperwork, forged. I'd swear. Tire tracks matching my old Civic, swapped plates. Expert testimony buried. Trial was a circus. Prosecutors painting me as the monster mom. Defense a joke paid for by what little we had left. Marcus testified, voice cracking just right. I loved her.
But. God.
The guilt. Jury out 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. Vehicular manslaughter. Fraud. The works. Prison was hell's waiting room in downstate Illinois. Orange jumpsuit chafing skin already raw from regret. 5 years for time served plus good behavior, but it felt eternal. Cell block whispers called me baby killer, guards leering with batons like extensions of their disdain. I learned to fight back, not with fists, but words. Law library rat. Filing appeals that went nowhere. Corresponding with a pro bono attorney named Lena who believed my story because she'd lived one like it. Haven House folded without me. Donors fled the scandal. Women I'd saved now back on streets that chewed them up. Marcus visited once. Early on. Through plexiglass that smelled of bleach and broken promises. I'm selling the apartment. Starting fresh, he said, avoiding my eyes. Foreclosure. No mention of the lawsuit I'd filed from inside, alleging frame-up. His responses? Crickets.
Then,
The bombshell, a tabloid blurb in my contraband magazine, Marcus Hale. Engaged to a real estate agent from Oak Park. 28 and glowing. Wedding in 6 months. My widower, husband. Trading grief for bliss while I rotted. That night, I smashed the mirror in the bathroom, shards embedding in my palm like stars. Blood dripped into the sink, and with it, something shifted. No more victim. No more pleas. If the system was rigged and it was greased by Marcus's construction cronies in City Hall, then I'd play dirty too. I started digging from the inside, bribing a guard for a burner phone, calling old contacts. Lena uncovered crumbs, Marcus's SUV in impound footage. Timestamped wrong by clerical error. Tommy's payoff wired from Marcus's secret account, the same one bleeding Haven House. Release day came like a storm front, gray skies over the gates as Lena picked me up in her beat-up Prius. He's still in Chicago, she said, handing me a dossier thick as a Bible. Living large in Lincoln Park now. With her. But Blakely. This path, it's razor wire. I stared out at the highway, the scar on my cheek from a prison shank pulling tight as I smiled.
good.
Let him bleed first. Back in the city, I crashed at Lena's. A walk-up in Wicker Park smelling of sage and takeout. Job? Waitressing at a dive off Milwaukee Avenue. Slinging beers to hipsters nursing hangovers and grudges. But nights were for plotting. I shadowed Marcus from afar, new suits. New laugh. New life built on my bones. His fiancée, Tara, was all Pilates and pearls, posting blessed on Instagram from brunches at the J.
Parker.
They were planning a destination wedding in Napa, oblivious to the ghost circling their bliss. The hook sank deeper when I hacked his email, juvenile stuff, phishing via a fake invoice from his contractor days. There it was, confessions in drunk text to a buddy. Blake took the fall like a champ. Kid was collateral. Ellie, collateral. My baby, reduced to a footnote in his climb. Rage boiled, but I banked it, crafting my arsenal. Anonymous tips to Ruiz, who was now captain, stirring old coals. Forged docs planting seeds of doubt in Tara's circle. And the photo, the one he'd kept on his desk, a relic of before, I knew it'd be my trigger. That Tuesday, I showed up unannounced. Key still copied from our old life. Rain lashed the windows as I let myself in, heart pounding like a bass drop at Lollapalooza. He was alone, tie loosened, scotch in hand, ranting into his phone about a bitch ex complicating the merger. I stepped into the light, and his face drained to ash. Blakely? What the foo? You kept the photo, I said softly, nodding at the frame on the mantel. Our family, frozen in joy. He lunged for it, ripping it free, tearing it across with a roar that echoed my prison screams. Get out. You're dead to me. Pieces scattered. And in the debris, I saw the edge of a Polaroid tucked behind, the hit-and-run aftermath. His SUV grille smeared. Ellie's ribbon glaring like accusation. That's when I hit record. He crumpled the Polaroid in his fist. Eyes wild. But not before my hidden phone captured the whole damn tableau. Marcus Hale. Golden boy turned fraud. Clutching evidence of his own crime like a kid caught with his hand in the cookie jar. You think you can waltz back and ruin me? He snarled. Advancing. The scotch sloshing in his glass like liquid fury. I didn't flinch. 5 years inside had turned flinching into fuel. Ruin you? Marcus. You did that the night you chose a promotion over our daughter. His laugh was bitter. Bourbon-soaked. The kind that echoes in empty ballrooms. Ellie was an accident. You were the screw-up. Always playing martyr. Taking that plea? Best thing you ever did for us.
Us. Not me.
Not her, us. Him and his ego. I circled the living room. Boots tracking rain onto his pristine Berber rug. The one Tara probably picked out a crate and barrel. The apartment was a far cry from our old hole-in-the-wall, sleek leather sectional. Abstract art screaming, I made it. Skyline view mocking the bars I'd stared through. Tell me about the money, I pressed. Voice steady as a South Side sermon. Haven House cash funneled to your side hustle. How many women ended up back on the streets because you needed a down payment on this view? He set the glass down hard. Ice clinking like handcuffs. You were drowning the place. I saved it, saved you from bankruptcy. Insurance payout after the accident covered the rest. The air thickened. Charged like pre-storm ozone. He was flipping the script. Victim to villain in a heartbeat. The way he'd always done in arguments. Gaslight. Guilt.
Gone.
But this time, I had the tape rolling. And backup. Lena parked 2 blocks down. Ready to call Ruiz if he swung. Marcus paced. Raking hands through his salt and pepper hair. The kind of distinguished gray that got him consulting gigs now. Look, Blake.
We can fix this.
Alimony. Whatever. Tara doesn't need to know.
Tara.
The name twisted like a knife in ribs. I'd seen her photos, blonde. Bubbly. The anti-me.
No tattoos.
No baggage. Just a realtor's smile selling dreams to suckers like him. Fix it? Like you fixed the SUV's bin? Or pay Tommy to lie his ass off? His eyes narrowed. That schemer's glint flashing, the same one that charmed investors at Chamber of Commerce mixers. Tommy's clean. And you're out on a technicality. Not exonerated. One word from me, and you're back inside. Threat laced with charm. Classic Marcus. Ally one breath. Enemy the next. He stepped closer. Hand outstretched like reconciliation. But I saw the flicker, calculation. Always 3 moves ahead. I backed toward the door. Heart thundering, but steps measured. Keep the photo. Burn it. But remember this, I know about the Napa wedding. The $200,000 gift from the mayor's PAC. And the offshore wire to your Panama shell company. Bluffs mixed with truth. Lena's digs had unearthed half. The rest I embroidered like a fisherman's tale. His face cracked. Just a hair, enough for the mic to catch the sharp inhale. Get out, he hissed again. But softer. Fear edging the anger. I left him there. Door clicking shut like a gun's safety. Rain washing my tears into the gutter. Outside. Lena's Prius idled. Wipers slapping rhythm like applause. Got it, she asked, glancing at the dash cam I'd synced. I nodded. uploading the audio to an encrypted drive as we peeled out. Crystal. He's unraveling. We debriefed over bad diner coffee in Andersonville. Steam rising like ghosts. Lena, with her wire-rimmed glasses and no bullshit bob, sketched the plan on a napkin, leaked the recording anonymously to Tara. Tip Ruiz off about the SUV Polaroid, which I'd palmed in the chaos, and audit Marcus's new firm for fraud ties. Slow burn. Blakely. Make him sweat, not snap. But revenge isn't a checklist, it's a fever. That night, alone in Lena's spare room, walls papered in faded florals, bed sagging like old regrets, I dreamed of Ellie. Not the accident, but before, her chubby fingers smearing peanut butter on my cheek. Giggling, "Mama sticky," waking in sweat. I vowed no mercy. Marcus had stolen my freedom, my purpose, my child. I'd take his empire, brick by embezzled brick. Next morning, I suited up, not the waitress uniform, but a thrift store blazer sharp as a shiv, hair pulled into a bun that said professional predator. First stop, Tara's office in River North. Glass towers gleaming like false teeth. I posed as a potential buyer. Blakely Reed, flashing a fake card Lena printed. Her assistant buzzed me in, and there she was, perched at a desk like a showroom model. Legs crossed in pencil skirt, smile brighter than Halstead neon. Charming space, I said, eyeing the mock-ups of luxury condos. Reminds me of the Hale build-out last year. Marcus's touch. Her laugh tinkled. Genuine but guarded.
Oh.
He's brilliant with Renas. We're tying the knot soon, Napa. Actually. You know him, fishing line cast. I reeled slow. Old acquaintance. Southside days. Heard whispers about his philanthropy. Her brow furrowed. Just a twitch. Philanthropy? He's more the strong silent type. I dropped the bait. Shame about the nonprofit scandal. His ex framed,
They say.
Tough break. Tara's polish cracked. Fingers drumming her blotter. Ex, he said she passed. Lie upon lie. The house of cards wobbling. I leaned in. Conspiratorial. Tragic mix-up. But hey, water under the bridge or under the tires, right? Her eyes widened, color draining. I left her there, seeds planted, heading to my shift with a grin that felt foreign. Feral. Words spread like wildfire in dry grass. By evening, my phone buzzed. Burner. Anonymous text from Tara's number?
No.
Marcus. Stay away or else.
Cute.
I replied with a screenshot of the recording's waveform. Captioned, transcript tomorrow? Panic set in. He called Lena's line. Voice oily. Let's talk settlement. She patched me in. Speaker on. My voice ice. Settlement? For murder and mayhem?
Nah.
But I'll take your confession on video. He flipped again, charm offensive. Blake. Baby. I was lost. Grief does that. Come over. Let's hash it. Trap? Maybe. I agreed. Wiring Lena my location. Back in Lincoln Park. The doorman waved me up, bribed or blind. Marcus waited with wine. Candles flickering like lies. Tara absent, girls' night. To fresh starts, he toasted, clinking my glass. But his eyes darted, sweat beading despite the AC. We talked, or he monologued, about healing, how prison had toughened me, how Tara was just a rebound. Bullshit symphony. Midway, as he poured seconds, I slipped the question. Why Ellie? Why not swerve? His mask slipped, glass trembling. It was late. Client dinner.
Booze.
She darted out. Your fault. Always letting her run wild. Blame shifted. Easy as breathing. I pressed. The SUV was yours. Not the rental. Silence stretched, taut as a wire. Then, the flip, rage. You think you're smart? I buried that deeper than your kid.
Kid.
The word ignited. I lunged, not for him, but the phone on the counter, his, unlocked in hubris. Text to Tommy. Payday if she stays caged.
Proof.
He grabbed my wrist, twisting, breath reeking. Delete it. Struggle ensued, furniture toppling, lamp shattering in a spray of porcelain. I need him. Broke free, bolting for the door with phone in hand. Down the hall, elevator dinging like freedom. Lena met me at the curb. Sirens distant but closing. Anonymous 911 from me. Marcus emerged,
Disheveled.
yelling my name like a curse. Cops swarmed, Ruiz front and center, eyes lighting on the phone. Blakely Hale. Stirring pots again. But the evidence spoke. Forensics on the device pulling up the offshore trails. The texts. The Napa invites laced with pack money. He lawyered up fast. Out on bail by dawn. Spinning tales of coerced statements and vindictive acts. Media frenzy reignited. Chicago Tribune headline screaming, grieving dad or guilty monster? Tara bailed. Her Instagram gone dark. Ring returned via courier. Marcus went radio silent, but I felt his gaze. Shadows in my rear view as I drove to Haven House's corpse, a boarded-up brownstone on 47th. Weeds choking the stoop. There, under graffiti-tagged walls, I wept for Ellie, for the me he'd erased. But rising, fists clenched, I rebuilt. Grants reapplied. Volunteers rallied via viral posts, Justice for Haven. Donors trickled back, drawn to the Phoenix tale. Marcus's firm? Audits hit. Contracts voided. His name mud in boardrooms from here to Milwaukee. Yet he wasn't done scheming. A week later, a package arrived at Lena's. Photos of me at the diner. Time-stamped. With a note. Walk away. Or everyone knows your prison friends. Blackmail. Turning my survival inside into leverage. The flip again. Enemy to extortionist. I burned them. But fear not. Was he watching? Planning? Climax brewed that Friday. Art Institute Gala. Black tie schmooze where Chicago's elite preened like peacocks. Marcus crashed it. Tuxedoed and desperate. Cornering donors with sob stories. I was there too. Arm candy to Lena's +1. Dress from the thrift rack hugging curves prison had honed. Our eyes met across the Calder Mobile. Sparks flying like bad wiring. He approached. Flute of champagne in hand. Smile shark-wide. Dance. Waltz under Chagall windows. His hand low on my back. Truce.
Lies.
Midway, he whispered, I can make it right. Drop the case. I fund Haven full.
Bait.
I twirled away. Too late for charity. Marcus. Ellie's not a tax write-off. His grip tightened. You push. I push back. Tommy's got dirt, your appeal? Bought with contraband cash. Gaslight reloaded. But Ruiz was there. Badge undercover. Nodding my signal. Bust imminent. Marcus sensed it. Bolting for the exit through the crowd. Champagne spilling like bloodless wounds. Chase ensued. marble floors echoing heels. Down Michigan Avenue into night. Rain again. Slick as betrayal. He ducked into an alley off the Mag Mile. Panting. Cornered. Blakely.
Please.
It was me or us. The firm was folding. The hit a fluke. Confession half-baked. Flips frantic. I stood firm. Ruiz cuffing him as he begged. For Ellie? The cuffs clicked like punctuation on a death sentence. Marcus's pleas dissolving into the downpour as Ruiz read him his rights for the second time in our shared hell. Resisting. Tampering. Added to the list, she said, her voice gravel over sympathy, shoving him toward the squad car. He twisted, rain matting his hair into clownish spikes, eyes locking on mine, not with hate, but something worse, recognition. You win.
Blake.
But at what cost? The door slammed, taillights bleeding red into puddles, and for a heartbeat, I wondered if he was right. Victory tasted like ash, gritty and cold, as the gala crowd gawked from awnings, phones out like vultures' beaks. Lena pulled up in an Uber, hood up against the storm. He's singing already, lawyers en route. But the phone's a goldmine. We sped to her place, peeling off wet layers, adrenaline crashing like waves on Navy Pier. Over microwave pizza, Chicago thin crust, extra sausage, she laid it out, charges stacking like Jenga fraud. Obstruction. Vehicular homicide reopened. Trial in months. You testify. I nodded. Cheese stringing like nooses. Every word. For her. But sleep evaded. Ghosts parading, Ellie's laugh echoing off water-stained ceilings. Marcus's touch turning toxic in memory. Dawn brought headlines, Sun-Times splash, contractor kingpin crumbles, frame-up fallout. His face. Mugshot grim. Beside my release photo. Scars airbrushed but soul bare. Comments flooded socials. Free Marcus camps calling me, vindictive harpy, justice for Ellie cheering the takedown. Polarized. Like a city divided by the river. North side elite versus South side survivors. I scrolled till eyes burned. The controversy a mirror to my fractured self. Haven House revival kicked off Monday. A pop-up clinic in a church basement off 63rd. Folding tables laden with pamphlets and hope. Women trickled in, eyes hollow. Stories spilling like confessions. Evictions. Assaults. Systems that chewed and spat. Saw you on the news, one murmured. Bandaged wrist peeking from sleeve. Girl. You rose. I hugged her, inhaling the scent of cheap soap and steel resolve, remembering my own intake forms yellowed with time. By week's end, we'd house 3. Grants pending, Phoenix indeed. Feathers singed but spreading. Marcus's flips didn't stop behind bars. Cook County Jail visits leaked via his mouthpiece, tearful to Tara, who filed a restraining order from Napa. Contrite to investors, bad advice. Venomous to me via proxy notes, smuggled out. You'll regret this.
Blake.
Secrets cut both ways. What secrets? Prison had stripped me bare, no hidden lovers. No stash loot. Unless. The friends he'd hinted at.
Inside.
Alliances formed fast. Big Rita. Lifer for arson. Who'd taught me lockpicking with a toothbrush, Slim. Hacker extraordinaire. Who'd smuggled my first burner. Favors traded like cigarettes. Protection for info. Silence for stories. One evening, as I locked up the pop-up, a shadow detached from the stoop. Tommy, Marcus's cousin, reeking of old style and regret. He sent me. Says call it even, drops the dirt if you do.
Dirt?
I laughed. Bitter as black coffee. Tell your puppet master, no deals. And if you swing that shiv in your pocket, Rita sends regards. He paled. Word of my connections had spread, backing off into the night, muttering curses. The threat lingered,
Though.
paranoia prickling like Illinois chill. I installed cams at Haven, irony, using Marcus's old tricks and doubled shifts, crashing on cots amid the women's murmurs. Dreams twisted, Ellie chasing fireflies in Grant Park, only for Marcus to douse them with gas. Flames licking her pigtails. I'd wake screaming, fists bloody from punching air. Ruiz called midweek. Voice clipped over diner clatter. Your ex? Talking plea. Implicates the mayor's boy in the pack skim. Big fish. Controversy crested. Protests outside City Hall. Signs waving corrupt to the core versus innocent till proven. Marcus. Center stage again. Flipping from villain to whistleblower. His lawyer spinning, redeemed family, man coerced by love.
Love.
The word curdled, but doubt wormed in. Had I pushed too far? Was his confession just cornered desperation? Lena sensed the waver. Don't humanize him. Blakely. He's a chameleon, adapts to eat. We prepped my deposition, role-playing in her living room, her as prosecutor, me reliving the rip, the recording, the alley chase. Make 'em feel it, she coached. Not just facts, the gut punch. Nights. I wrote letters to Ellie, unsent, pages filled with what-ifs. What if I'd seen the signs? What if prison broke me instead of building? Gala fallout rippled. Donors reinstated. But with strings, oversight committees to ensure transparency. I swallowed pride. Nodding at board meetings in church basements. Suits out of place amid peeling paint. One funder, a steel-haired widow from Hyde Park, pulled me aside post-meet. My son. Similar mess. Frame up by his partner. You give me hope. Her grip was iron. Eyes wet.
Hope.
The currency I'd lost. Now minting anew. Marcus's next move came sly, a jailhouse interview with a podcaster. Behind bars, the betrayed, voice modulated but venom pure. Blakely was unstable postpartum. They said. The accident? Mutual fault. I took the high road. But she wants blood. Lies layered thick. Fans flooding my DMs with hate. Killer mom. Jailbird jealous. Trolls doxed Haven's address. Eggs splattering windows by morning. I cleaned it solo. Rage-fueling suds. Vowing escalation. Twist brewed at arraignment. Public. Packed courtroom in the loop. Air thick with perfume and popcorn from nearby theaters. Marcus. Orange jumpsuit traded for suit. Clean-shaven. Entered to flashes. Our eyes met across the bar. His plea? Not guilty. But with a bomb. Motion to suppress evidence, obtained via entrapment by defendant's witness.
Me.
Entrapment? The recording. The phone snatch, framed as setup. His lawyer. Slick as lake oil. Paraded character witnesses. Tara. Tear-streaked. Swearing he changed for me. And Tommy. Soberish. Mumbling family sticks together. I testified anyway. Voice steady under fluorescent buzz. The rip. The Polaroid. The alley beg. He killed my daughter. Then my life. For what? A penthouse view? Gasps rippled. Judge banging gavel like thunder. But Marcus's gaze, pleading, almost paternal, stirred the hive. Jurors shifted. Whispers of he seems sorry versus sociopath charm. split down the middle, like the photo. Post-hearing, chaos, reporters mobbing, one shoving a mic. Do you hate him?
Yes.
Hail.
Hate.
Too small. I pity the man who rips families for applause. But inside, fractures showed. Lena drove me home. Radio droning bare scores, irrelevant noise. He's dividing them, us, on purpose. Classic flip, make you the monster. That night, burner rang unknown. Blakely? Rita. Your boy's asking questions about Slim. Watch your back. Prison ties snapping back. Marcus digging from inside. I fortified, changed locks, armed with pepper spray from a corner bodega. Haven thrived despite. New beds filled. A therapist volunteer from Northwestern counseling trauma circles. One woman, Maria, shared her scar story over tea. My ex burned me out. You burned brighter. Empowerment, raw and real, but tension coiled. Marcus's plea deal loomed, light sentence for packed dirt, implicating hire. Controversy peaked, op-eds debating redemption versus reckoning, cable news panels yelling over each other. Chicago's soul laid bare in talking head tirades. I tuned out, focusing on rebuild, grant for security, partnership with a loop firm for pro bono audits.
Then,
the gut punch, anonymous email, attachment of video, grainy, time-stamped, prison yard 2 years back.
Me.
Laughing with Slim over contraband smokes. His arms slung casual. Caption. Partners in crime? Your hacker friend boosted cars for the mob. Fabricated? Deepfake slick. But doubt-seated. Marcus's play. Smear via proxy. Flipping my allies to liabilities. I confronted Lena. Screen shaking in my hand. He's winning the narrative. Her jaw set. Then we counter. Full press. Leak the full recording. Unedited. Let the world hear him own it. Leak dropped Friday. Viral by midnight. Marcus confesses trending. Audio of Ellie was collateral, looping on TikToks from Bronzeville to Bucktown. Backlash swift. His lawyer crying doctored. But forensics firms debunked. Public swaying. Protests swelled. Vigils for Ellie outside his old firm. Effigies burned in Lincoln Park. Yet in the eye. Quiet storm. A letter arrived. Jail stamped. Marcus's scrawl. Blake. I did it for us. To escape the poverty you romanticized.
Ellie.
I'll carry forever. Forgive. Flip final. Villain to victim. Begging absolution. I burned it. Ashes swirling like snow. But the words lingered. A hook in flesh. Haven's first gala, low-key. VFW Hall on the west side. Marked milestone. $10,000 raised. Speeches from survivors. I spoke last. Voice cracking. Betrayal builds walls.
But revenge?
It builds bridges if you choose. Applause thundered. But as lights dimmed, a figure in the shadows, Tommy, eyes hollow. He's sick.
Blake.
Cancer. Plea for mercy. Mercy. The word hung. Controversial as a hung jury. Tommy's whisper slithered through the VFW's haze of cigar smoke and cheap punch. His breath a mix of regret and rye that hit me like a South Side winter. Stage 3.
Pancreatic.
Docs give him months. He's asking no. Begging for you to visit. End it clean.
Clean.
As if our saga was a bedsheet.
Not a bloodstain.
The gala swirled around us. Women in thrifted gowns clinking glasses. Laughter defiant against the accordion's wheeze. but my world narrowed to his sallow face. The cousin who'd perjured for a payout now playing confessor. "Tell him hell's too good," I muttered, turning away, but the hook sank deeper, barb of pity twisting in my gut. Lena found me later, chain smoking on the fire escape, city lights blurring through Marlboro haze. "Tommy? That rat." I exhaled, smoke curling like questions.
Cancer.
"Marcus is dying." She leaned on the rail, pragmatic as ever. "Karma's a bitch. Doesn't change facts." But it did. Facts were clay now, molded by morality's grubby hands. Was revenge justice? Or just vengeance dressed in drag? Forums buzzed. "Forgive Marcus" trending alongside "Ellie deserves better." Therapists on podcasts dissecting the ethics of grudge. Chicago, land of second chances for the connected, debated my soul like a Bears draft pick. I ignored the summons at first, burying in Haven's grind, dawn intakes, midnight gran apps, fistfights with landlords over back rent. Maria, my scar sister, noticed the hollows under my eyes. "Ghosts don't pay bills."
Mia.
"Face them, or they haunt harder." Wise words from a woman who'd knifed her abuser in self-defense and walked free on technicality. I nodded, but inside, tides pulled both ways, drown him or drag him ashore. Ruiz called Tuesday. Post-jail scuffle. Marcus started over visitor rights. "He's clean on the plea. Pack bus tomorrow." Mayor sweating. "But Hale? He's leveraging health for leniency." Judge is soft on terminal.
Soft. Like the system that buried me.
"And me?" I asked, voice wire-taut. "Your testimony sealed it." But Blakely. He's naming names. Yours included. Mine? In what fresh hell? Says you knew about the skim, encouraged it for Haven. Bullshit. But it'll stick if unchecked. The flip. Eternal. From accused to accuser. Marcus painting me complicit to lighten his load. Fury flared. Hot as Wriggler Field fireworks. But tempered by the cancer card. I agreed to visit, armored. Recorder pinned to bra like a badge of war. Cook County intake was a gauntlet. Metal detectors beeping indignity. Guards leering like they'd invented sin. Plexiglass again. But reversed me free. Him caged. Orange suiting his pallor like jaundice. He shuffled in, chains rattling soft. The man who'd built empires now whittled to whisper. Chemo had stripped his hair, cheeks sunken like bad stock photos. But eyes? Still that chameleon's gleam, flipping from frail to fierce. "Blake," he croaked, picking up the phone, voice gravel from tubes. "You came." I said nothing, staring at the scar on his knuckle from punching walls after Ellie. He'd claimed. Now, just flesh. Failing. "Tell me why," I finally said, words knives.
Ellie.
The frame. All of it. He leaned close to the glass, breath fogging it like secrets.
Fear.
The firm was leveraged Russian loans, mob ties from my old crew. It was panic. I was texting the boss, not watching. Lie or truth? His eyes welled. Crocodile or kin? You took the fall 'cause I loved you, couldn't lose you too. But prison. It broke us both.
Us.
Again. I pressed the recorder's button. Subtle. "The money? Haven?" He coughed. Wet and wrenching. Skim was survival. I funneled back. Anonymous. "Remember? You were drowning in ideals. I built the raft." Partial truth. Some deposits had been ghost gifts, but twisted. making me the naive Mark. And Tara? Venom slipped. His smile ghosted. Rebound. Empty. Like me now. Silence stretched. Taut as visitation rules. Then, the bomb. I got proof.
Blake. On you.
Slim's hacks? Traced to your peels. Mob car boosts funded your lawyer. Deepfake video source, his final card. Played weak. But doubt flickered. Slim had vanished post-release. Whispers of witness protection. Was Marcus bluffing? Or had my friends been fangs? I forgive you, he lied. Voice cracking for the mic. For Ellie. Drop the rest. Flip. Dying dad seeking peace. I stood. Chair scraping like judgment. Forgiveness is free. Justice? Paid in full. Left him there. Reflection fracturing in the glass, me. Unbowed, him. Unraveling. Outside. Rain again. Chicago's eternal baptism. Lena waited. Debriefing in the car. Audio gold. But the complicity claim? We'll counter with alibis. Timelines. Yet sleep brought no peace. Dreams of Marcus wilting in a hospital bed. Ellie beside him. Hand in tiny hand. Mercy or masochism? Pack bust broke Thursday. Mayor's aide cuffed on live TV. Suits scattering like roaches. Marcus's cooperation splashed. Dying whistleblower clears the air. Leniency loomed. House arrest. Maybe probation. Public split wider. Editorials decrying cancer privilege. Counterpieces pleading humanity over hate. I fielded calls. Oprah wannabe producers pitching redemption arcs. Trolls emailing Ellie's old drawings. Photoshopped with devil horns. Haven anchored me. Expansion to 2 sites. Therapy dogs from a Logan Square rescue wagging tails amid trauma tales. One night. Post circle. Maria pressed a rosary into my palm. Pray for his soul. Not yours. Vengeance eats the victor. Faith I'd lost in Foster Shuffle. But her grip grounded. I pocketed it. Whispering to shadows. Ellie? Guide me. Twist hit Friday, Slim surfaced. Email from a VPN ghost town. Hale's lying. Hacks were his op. Framed on you for insurance. I'm out. DEA deal. Run. Attachment. Logs. Irrefutable. Marcus's digital fingerprints on the deepfake. The mob ties. Proof he'd schemed from the start. Flipping my survival into his shield. Rage renewed. Pure as windy city wind. I leaked it, anonymous drop to the Trib. Timed for arraignment redux. Chaos. Headlines howling, terminal traitor. Marcus's lawyer scrambling. Health plea backfiring as crocodile tears. Protests peaked. Vigil outside the jail. Candles flickering like fireflies Ellie chased. Chants of no mercy for monsters. But in the crowd, Tara, uninvited, unhinged, clutching a manila envelope. He lied to me too. This. For you. Inside, love letters. His to her. Confessing fragments. Ellie was the price for our future. Future. Stolen from us all. She hugged me, brief and broken. I almost married the devil. United fronts formed, Tara testifying, her polish peeling to pain. We prepped together over diner fries. Swapping scars, her emotional, mine etched. He flipped me like a house, she admitted. Staged Renos to hide the skim. Sisterhood born of betrayal. Controversial as exes, a lying against the ghost. Arraignment dawned gray. Courthouse steps slick with doubt. Marcus wheeled in wheelchair now. Chemo's toll, pale as surrender. Plea, guilty. Full weight. No deals. His eyes met mine across the docket. Not pleading.
But.
Empty. Acceptance?
Or act.
Judge sentence swift. Life. With compassionate release clause, cancer's wild card. Outside. Media maelstrom. Mics thrusting. Questions barbed. Regrets. Hemis. Hail, one barked. I paused. Rain beating on lashes. Only that it took so long. But inside. Schisms. Victory hollow. Echoing Ellie's absence. Haven Gala 2.0 loomed grand now. Palmer House ballroom. Chandeliers dripping like deferred dreams. I stood at the podium. Dressed black as resolve. A crowd hushed. Donors. Survivors. Ruiz in corner nursing a scotch. Betrayal binds. But breaking free? That's the real revenge. Applause crashed. But midway, a cough from wings, Marcus?
No.
Hallucination. Post-speech. Tommy cornered me again. Envelope trembling. His will. Your sole heir, everything. For Ellie. Flip post-mortem. Villain's last con. Or contrition. Assets. The Lincoln Park pad. Firm remnants. Offshore nests unearthed. Wealth from wreckage, ironic fortune. I burned the will that night. Flames dancing in a hotel sink. Ashes flushed like sins. Mercy denied. But chains? Looser. Yet doubt lingered. A shadow in triumph. Had I become him, scheming? Unyielding? Forums raged. Hero or henchwoman? Split. As promised. The ashes swirled down the drain like confetti from a funeral weed never held. The Palmer House's opulence fading behind me as I stepped into the night. Chicago's pulse thrumming underfoot, cabs honking, drunks caroling off-key carols despite the December chill. Tommy's envelope was gone, but its weight clung. A phantom inheritance of tainted gold, the apartment where he'd ripped our photo. The firm that laundered lies. The accounts fat with stolen salvation. Heir to empire. Or to evil. The debate raged in my skull. Louder than the L rattling overhead. As I hailed a ride back to the New Haven headquarters, a renovated warehouse in Pilsen. Murals of fierce women splashed across brick like war paint. Lena texted en route. You okay? That fire symbolic? I typed back. Clean slate. But slates smear. Especially in a city built on grudges. Where Al Capone's ghost still tips fedoras at rush hour. Home was a cot in the communal dorm. Women's snores a lullaby of solidarity. But sleep dodged me. Mind replaying Marcus's last look, hollow. Human. Cancer had stripped his schemes bare. Leaving a man who'd flipped one too many times. Landing face down in truth. Dawn brought decisions, the assets. Lawyer consult, pro bono. Lena's network, advised liquidation for Haven endowment. Billions in impact, he said. Spreadsheets gleaming like Lake Superior. Controversial? Hell yes, forums lit up. Blood money versus. Turn poison to potion. I greenlit it. Press release framing, redemption through restitution. But privately, it gnawed. Ellie's trust fund, ballooning to 7 figures. Named in my will ironic. Her legacy from the man who'd erased her. Ruiz dropped by noon, coffee in hand, badge casual under leather jacket. Hails fading, hospice transfer approved. Wants a message. Hospice. The word hung. Clinical curtain call. I sipped. Bitter brew mirroring mood. Tell him, Ellie's fireflies are brighter, without your shadow. She nodded. Eyes soft. You did good. Blakely. Messy. But good. Messy. Understatement for a saga that split the city like the Chicago River dyed green on Patrick's. Public fallout fermented. Docuseries pitches flooded. The Rip, a family's reckoning. Producers salivating over my arc. I declined. But the narrative spun wild. Podcasts pitting feminist fury against male fragility. Cable hacks yelling, cancel culture kills. Tara guested one. Voice steady. He was a master manipulator. Blakely? Warrior. Allies multiplied. But so did foes. Anonymous threats spray-painted on Haven walls. Widow's revenge equals Widowmaker. I doubled security.
But fear?
Old friend. Honed in cells. Maria taught self-defense in the yard. Kick sharp as her quips. Hit low. Twist free. Like you did him. Laughter echoed. Healing balm. As we sparred under mural Madonnas. Haven bloomed. Satellite in Englewood. Scholarships for foster kids like Teen Me. Therapy vans prowling nights. Donors poured in. Drawn to the drama. Oprah retweeted our GoFundMe. Spiking to mid-six figures overnight. Yet the twist, the real gut-wrencher, came veiled as mercy. Hospice called Friday, Mr. Hale's lucid. Insists on you. I went. Against Lena's growl. Driving the Prius through slushy streets. Heart a drum solo. Facility was sterile purgatory, beeps and bleach. Nurses gliding like ferrymen. Marcus lay propped. Tubes snaking like regrets. Skin parchment over bones. No plexiglass, just a chair. His hand extended. Trembling. Blake. Whisper. Not roar. I sat.
Distant.
Recorder off, this for me? Not court. Why now? He coughed. Phlegm rattling. Endgame. No flips left.
Eyes.
Once chameleon. Now clear, regrets monochrome. The will. Burn it. But no, I loved you.
Wrong.
But real.
Love.
The lie that launched ships of fools. Loved enough to kill? Venom slipped.
But soft.
He nodded. Tears tracking. Panic. And after.
Pride.
Couldn't admit. Confession unvarnished. No scheme, just man. Mortal. Ellie visits in dreams. Forgives. You? The question hung. Controversial core. Absolve the architect of agony? I stood. Throat tight. Her forgiveness is hers. Mine? Earned in fireflies. Left him there. Door whispering shut. His sobs chasing like echoes. He died Sunday. Pneumonia hastening the inevitable headline. Disgraced tycoon passes. Legacy of lies? Obituaries flipped final. Villain to troubled soul. Family me. Sole survivor. Issuing no statement. Tara sent flowers, lilies. Ironic purity, with a note. We both outlived the monster. Funeral? None. I scattered Ellie's ashes, delayed by trial. At Montrose Point. Waves lapping like applause. Fireflies absent, but imagined. Fly free. Baby, I murmured. Wind whipping hair. Haven vigil followed. Candles on the stoop. Survivors sharing flames. To Blakely, Maria toasted. Who ripped back. Months blurred. Haven franchise to Detroit. Milwaukee, Midwest Revenge Network. Empowering the erased. I dated cautious, a barista with tattoos and trust issues. Walks in Millennium Park dodging tourists. But scars itched. Reminders that peace is patchwork. The debate? Eternal. Forums fizzled to footnotes. But in quiet, I pondered, was I right?
Wrong.
Or just wreckage rebuilt? No clean win. Marcus's flip scarred us all. His death, no absolution. My victory, no bomb. Ellie gone. But her light? In every woman I lifted. Every grant greenlit. One night. Diner shift ending. A kid, 8. Pigtails, skipped in with her mom. Ordering hot chocolate. Laugh tinkled. Ellie's echo. I comped it, smiling real. Strong like your mama? She nodded, dimples flashing. In that moment, strongest version me? Awakened. Yes, but ever evolving. In America's endless grind. The rip had torn us open. But from the shreds, something fiercer wove, not just revenge, but reclamation. Controversial? Damn right. But mine.